I'm really excited. Right. Okay. It's now 5 minutes after the hour of 12. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Welcome to the BBPA's Ask a Professional. The BBPA supports Black businesses and professionals across Canada. Ask a Professional is a BBPA series providing ongoing dialogue and consultation with industry experts in a wide range of fields. Business owners will have the opportunity to have specific relevant questions answered about their businesses and various proven industry professionals. And they'll also be able to learn from the questions posted by other members. Whether you're an established business owner or if you're considering launching a startup, this series is an opportunity to equip yourself with the tools and the know-how that will bring you success. BBPA is here to help the Black business community in their respective niches. And this series will facilitate open discussions that are applicable to a wide range of industries. Just a few housekeeping things inside the chat area. I put a few instructions. I would like for everyone to post the questions that you have in the chat. You can click on the raise your hand button. And once I see that, I will be happy to call on you to ask your questions. We do invite everyone to ask at least 1 or 2 questions, because I know you will. And I'm excited to have you ask your questions. Okay. Now,
is it possible?
On the call with us today, we have Sandra Whiting. Sandra is someone who is a very well-known individual in the community. She has worked on hundreds of events, and she's a former president of the BBPA. Please welcome Miss Sandra Whiting.
Thank you,
Hi, Sandra.
Hi.
Welcome, Sandra.
Is it possible to see who else is on the call that they put their picture up? Is it possible?
I'm not sure what you're seeing on.
I see Ross, Nadine, Pat, yourself, but that's all. Is everybody on camera? Joy.
Hey, Joy.
I had to answer the doorbell. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Joy.
Oh,
Sandra, thank you for sending me the invitation.
You're most welcome, Joy, and thank you for jumping on the call. Because anybody else, I do want to know who is on the call, because it's very important. Are you someone who has planned events, or where's Frederica? I don't see your face, Frederica. Where's Frederica? Gavin, can you get everybody to put their picture up?
Can everyone open up their cameras, please? Sandra would like to see your faces.
It's easier, you know.
Hi, Jules. I see Jules has joined us. Thank you for joining us, Jules. Can you put your camera on, please, Jules? There will be some people who wouldn't want to do that, though.
Yes, I don't.
I combed my hair, sort of.
Good on you, Joy. I'm impressed.
What's the topic? You didn't tell me. You just said.
Oh, I said, come on. Yes. Okay. So we're talking about event planning.
Event planning.
Event planning and my experience, and hopefully we can have a few questions of how do we go from here as people who produce and plan events. For those who don't know, Joy also that's one of the things she does. So I'm looking forward to hearing from her as well. And Frederica, where's Frederica? Don't see her yet.
She's there. Her camera's not on, but she's there.
Okay, I don't know why Frederica is hiding. Frederica is also.
She says I'm here.
I see she says that. Please put on your camera. Because Frederica is also an event planner. Anyway, I thought we would just start off. Gavin and I had a chat that we just start off with me just telling you a little bit about some of the things I have done in my work. So Gavin. So I, as some of you know, I'm what is called jack of all trades. I sometimes look at all of this and think, wow. But I'm somebody who always says, yes, I've been an event programmer, a TV host, storyteller, all of those good things. I wanted just to share that I do have some knowledge of a lot of planning and being part of major events. One of which, as some of the organizations I have worked with, Gavin, can you just scroll down a little bit more?
Yeah, here we go.
To see some of the organizations. I can't see it. Scroll up a bit. So I've worked for Harborfront Center, Carnivalissima, which some of you may remember as part of the Luminata program. That was actually the biggest event I have ever worked on. We had 500,000 people down at the waterfront, and I was the project manager who worked on that event. We had, I think, over 400 international artists. We had thousands of people come through for that whole weekend. We had dancers, singers, musicians. It was amazing. And one of the things that I'm very proud to have worked on, the annual Kumba Black History Month program. Gavin, can you roll up the thing a bit?
1 second.
So the annual Black Kumba, which has been running at Harborfront for over 20 years, I was the person, and I'm owning it because sometimes we don't own what we do and we're a little bit hesitant, particularly as women, to say, yeah, that came out of my brain, and persuaded Harborfront to be the first major organization in the city to actually do anything for Black History Month. And Nadine and I were having a quick conversation this morning, and both of us were talking about how very thrilled we were to have been part of Jamaica 50, which happened in 2012. And I have to say was one of the most successful community events that I have ever had the privilege to work on. It took us 2 years, and Nadine, that's how I met Nadine, working on Jamaica 50, and we did everything. We had a book, we had dance, we had music, we worked with every major cultural organization in the city. We had summer things. It was awesome. Gavin, can you roll it up a bit, please?
Sandra, I wanted to tell the story about how we came, really, what was the defining moment as to how we became good friends. Can I share that story in the group?
Absolutely.
So as events go, you need a structured plan. And Sandra hadn't heard from me on the committee because I was busy producing a very big show. And so I think Sandra decided to fire me from the committee. So I showed up at her house.
After much discussion with people.
So I showed up at her house and I said, hello, Sandra Whiting, Nadine Spencer here. I hear you want to have a talk with me. She said, oh, yes. And so I went in and I presented the most elaborate, fabulous plan. And it was when she saw that plan, she realized, oh, I'm dealing with an expert, of course. So that is how important a plan is. And then we became BFFs after that. That's my
that's your version. Okay. we will say that version somewhere in between that. But it was true. I'd never met Nadine, and she was extraordinarily busy. And my view of things is, yeah, you're busy, but you either do it or you move off and allow other people. And she said, oh, I'm not going anywhere. So, and we became excellent friends after that. So, yes. So anyway, if Gavin would be so kind as to move the screen up a bit.
Up?
Up so we can see the bottom of the document.
This is the bottom right here.
No.
This is the entire document.
No. And where is the organizations?
They're on screen right now.
No. Not on mine.
So, okay, Sandra, we know how diverse your experience has been. Here we are. Yeah, very impressive.
Yes, so as I was saying, so I've had a vast, diverse group of people working with all kinds of organizations, from boards where you're a policy board and you sit and you get all the information, to hands-on boards, as most of us have. So the question, and Gavin.
Yes. So my first question is, can you give me 2 examples of successful projects that you've worked on, and in what capacity?
Right, so I'm going to do what I mentioned, one in our community, Jamaica 50, which is an extraordinarily difficult kind of project to do because you're working totally with volunteers, and we had hundreds of them, including Pat, who's from Trinidad but became an honorary Jamaican. Remember that? Joy, you did some work with it as well.
On the book?
On the book. So we did not say only Jamaicans, and we got people involved. I remember I got a young woman coming to my door one Saturday morning, and I said, and who are you? She said, my granny sent me. Her grandmother had heard about the project and thought she should be involved. So that was something that really was amazing. And then of course, the many Harry Jerome's and many, many community events. And then work as a planner, programmer at Harbourfront Center for over 20 years. And I just say this to let people have a sense, you know, that it has been a number of years. And now everything has changed. Somebody has
But Sandra,
So,
I mean, you
can you
talk
guys-
about all the big events, but Sandra, what I really like about you is the fact that you don't just do big events. You would throw yourself in and help smaller organizations succeed in an endeavor. So, you know what I mean? You're talking about the big events, but I also love the fact that you could make people, you could raise money when there are no auction items. You just make people so happy. And even the small luncheon that I do at my church for the EDGE program, people are happy because you come and MC and you make it so interesting. So I know you do big things, but I want people to understand how your community giving is so amazing, really, to help small organizations succeed and raise money.
Thank you, my darling.
Excuse me for one moment. Can we remember to keep our keep on mute until we are ready to speak? We're getting some feedbacks from someone.
Yeah, we're hearing a radio.
The Samsung Galaxy, can you please mute?
Yes, and 49 confirmed cases at Eatonville. Toronto Public Health says there are now 30 deaths.
Samsung Galaxy, can you please mute?
Is one of those recovering. There's nothing bad to say.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Sandra, can you go ahead, please?
Thank you. So yes, in response to Pat, things from everything from our 80th birthday party to CD launches to gala dinners and everything in between. Everything that people have to have planned, it's good to have somebody who has some knowledge to work on it. So now we come to this new landscape that we're all in, and trust me, I do not have any major answers, but we thought it would be just good to talk about how do we pivot from how we have always run events or done things in this time of COVID. So I just put together a quick 10 tips, and it's really for people who are actually in the business. So for those of you on the call who have clients and want to keep in touch, it's a very good idea to check in now with your clients because they are just as in shock as you are. I have been reading, you know, the not-for-profit sector is going to lose, they cancel events, immediate loss of 25 million for the Heart and Stroke Foundation, you know, the big bike, all those big events that those organizations rely on, that can't happen. So do check in with your clients, and you know, you don't want to be going, hey, don't forget me when we start back, but do say hi. How are you doing? Send them a note. And I believe in the old-fashioned way of actually writing something. And you get a little one time to go out for the day, when you go your walk, put it in the mailbox. Send a note. Any thoughts on that, Joy or Rika?
I'd like to add that I didn't know, when you say clients, when I think clients, I think of my sponsors as well as the partners that I work with. My particular work is specific in that I work with a big sponsor and with several partners. So yes, I think it's just as important to send a note to your sponsors.
Absolutely. And any thought on how you would, what would you say to them? Because you want to keep them on side.
Yeah, well, what I did, I didn't address at all any of my own needs. I just sent a note acknowledging that these were special times and that there are probably a lot of people who are hurting and looking for help, and possibly looking for help from them. And I just wanted them to know that I'm willing to use my own expertise to help them help others in any way at all. Okay. And that's generally what I said to the people that I typically go to for sponsorships. And I put in a letter, not a letter in the mail, but I sent a specific email address to each of them.
Right. And what, have you had any response from any of them?
I did. Very heartwarming. I didn't have anyone say, yes, come and help me do this, but I had them comment back that it was a really important gesture. So that's the, you know, when I did it, I didn't think in terms of anything that I wanted specifically. I just wanted to let them know that I was here and I cared, and that they could consider me as just another body who could help.
Perfect.
And it made it made me feel better, because I don't know what to do to help individuals. You know, I give money, but I don't know how else to help. And so I needed to find somebody who does it and say, here, I've got two hands.
Right. Perfect. Nadine, could I ask you what your thoughts on that as well?
Irrelevant for the first few weeks because we were closed.
Nadine?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, what was the
Yeah, your thoughts on how do you check in this time with your clients and your sponsors and partners? What is the right word thing to say at this time?
For sure, yeah. And to Joy, everything that Joy said is good. What we also did just recently with our clients, just over Easter weekend, we sent everyone a pie. And just a note to say, we're thinking of you at this tough time, and this is to comfort you. Because, you know, when you're an event planner, you're in the event business, you're seeing people all the time, like you're celebrating people and gathering and getting together. And through this process, we haven't been able to do that. So we still wanted the warm and the warm and fuzzy, touchy-feely feeling that we love about why we are in this industry. So that's one of the things we did. But everything Joy said, you know, we reached out to them, even if it's by newsletter. What I call drip on them online. We sort of, you know, say hello to them on Instagram or on Twitter, just so they know that, you know, we're still connected.
I like the pie bit. I like that.
Yeah, that was number 8. Send a gift from your favorite suppliers to your clients.
Yeah.
And it can be as simple as a pie or some little cookies, or it's a nice thing to do, because then they top of mind, but you're not forcing yourself on them, but you're just saying, hey, I'm here. I know you must be feeling stressed right now, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
The favorite thing for me now, though, is use your time to learn as much about technology as you can. Now, somebody still has on a radio. Anyway, Gavin, maybe you can send a note to them in the chat. So use your time to learn about technology. Now, for some of you, where is Frederica? I would love to hear from Frederica.
Oh, I'm definitely here.
Okay, so Frederica, tell me what you feel about this one. Use your time to learn about. Some people are more technologically savvy. And this time, as people, particularly now with Zoom meetings, I've been on a lot of Zoom calls, everybody is learning as they go. Some people are a little further ahead, but what would you as a event planner feel about what you need to do now about technology?
From what, I mean, I have been trying to dig a little deeper into using this technology, especially applications like Zoom, just to ensure that we are using them correctly. I'm still learning myself, but what the research I've kind of been doing is how to, and I think you actually, I just went through your list quickly. Number 7 is how to, you know, take our events now virtual. And so I've just kind of been doing a little research on if we're going to come with these virtual meetings with 50, 60 people, how to keep them engaged, because that's the hardest thing, is keeping engaged. So what I've learned is that kind of implementing like pre-recorded notes and, you know, live notes at the same time, just to make sure everything runs smoothly. But it's just now it's researching what technology we can use to make this happen and to make things so seamless, because we have such high expectations now. So how do we make this happen?
Yes, and in the last couple of days with the baby face, did anybody watch that? The baby face and Riley?
And Teddy Riley, yeah, that was
Riley.
exactly.
The massive technological fail on the first time, and the feedback, which was so horrific. I mean, I found it quite amazing how people turned on the man. Mark, you thought he would have had more technical help and technical savvy, and then they redid it yesterday, was it? Or the day before? And
on Monday, they did it again on Monday.
And 400,000 people came in through Instagram, which had never been done before. And so a lot of people's feeds worked and some didn't work. It broke the internet, says Debbie, and it's true. It broke the internet. So here are 2 major.
What sort of event was it?
It was a mashup between Babyface and Teddy Riley. So they were.
Were they together or were they?
No, they were in different studios. They're in their hometowns, and each one would play, and people would vote and say. So who listened to it? Frederica? Did you listen to it?
Sorry, I just had to unmute. Yeah, I tried to listen to it on Saturday, but we know that was an epic fail. And then again on Monday, I did listen to it.
Oh, thanks, Debbie.
And how did you feel it went? Because I didn't at all.
It didn't. I mean, just like from the beginning, when you saw Teddy Riley with 13 people in his studio when we were supposed to be social distancing, that was not right.
Right.
And everybody commented on that, by the way.
Exactly, which I thought was a good thing, that people were actually, you know, throwing that at him, saying, hey, what's going on? You know, even with your backup dancer, Brayon, we don't need that there. And then all this, it was supposed to be like, well, they've done this versus thing in the past, and it's just 2 people in the studio going back and forth. And then Teddy came out with these 13 people, which didn't make sense during our time of social distancing, especially, and with all this equipment, which we didn't need, because it's just supposed to make you feel at home and that you're kind of live in the studio with them, but not at that point. And then I guess Teddy again on Monday tried to make it seem that he didn't have so many people, but you know, again, people kept on coming into his room to you know, help him out. So
and then the whole thing was the massive failure of the people who in his field couldn't figure out how to do the tech. And so when we are harsh sometimes with other people who are new to this, these people have tons of money and amazing technical support, and they put the speaker in the wrong place. I mean, and even after the first one, so it got better, but So it's a new world, is what
Yes.
we're saying. It's a
For sure.
whole new world.
You know,
Yeah. What were you saying, Joy?
I talked to Eddie yesterday, Eddie Bullen, producer. I talked with him about being able to do some kind of live show because I know he and his sons are locked up in his studio. Not a bad place to be when you're isolated. But he said, he acknowledged that it is very, very difficult
Yes.
to pull together sounds from different locations, and that people, experts in the field, are working really hard and rarely succeeding very well to do it.
Exactly.
Saw the other day, the world, I forget what it was called.
Concert, the one world.
That was a massive endeavor,
Yes.
for them to do. It sounds to me as though this guy made some bad decisions, period, with how he did the show. But the technical aspect of it, I mean, we have to first recognize that it's not an easy thing to do. Not when you're trying to pull sounds together and get them to blend in a way that we're accustomed to hearing it.
Absolutely. And the comments that came in a lot was, hey, why don't you get your grandchildren to help? And oh my God, after millennium.
Tough crowd.
It was tough, and 400,000 people. Instagram has never been used that way.
Yeah.
And so it shows that we have a lot. So the question, use your time to learn as much about technology, or find people who you now can work with, because the time is going to come when you're going to have to do some of that work. And we need to find these young millennials who seem to know everything.
Quincy is doing a show tonight.
Okay, on Facebook?
Quincy Bullen on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Pull him up, yeah. I'm interested in seeing how he was able to do it.
Right, and so the question, that's one part of the equation, but then how can you make money? Or how can you, that's the part now we have to talk about. So the other one I had down was work or consult with others in your field. I think it's now, when we have time, is a good time for people who are in the field to reach out to each other and say, hey, this is the challenge I'm having. Do you know somebody? What can we do? I really believe that that's critical. And so it's great that we have Joy and Frederica, Nadine, Pat plans her events for her Edge group, that people who are doing these things have a chat, because I don't think anybody has all the answers. The other one is, if you're a professional and haven't started a blog or a newsletter yet, now is the time that you can give people expert advice. Having said that, my newsletter hasn't been out for a while, so Nadine has been on my case about that, but it's important. Yeah. And so Nadine, perhaps you could speak a little bit about why that piece is so important.
Yeah, and even before I get to that, Sandra, I wanted to say, you sort of said just now with Quincy doing the concert, how do you make money doing that? And so I think at times like this, one of the things we must realize is that, currency comes in different forms, and we can't afford to not be present at times like this. So the currency may not come now, but it will come later, because what we have to do is keep ourselves in top of people's minds, that we're still around, that we're still here. And this is why we're doing things like this, even this Ask the Professional series, and why he should do the concert. I myself, from my agency, will be starting some online training around, continuing exposure during this time, because it's important that we continue to do that. And so with the newsletter, again, the reason why it's important is to be top of mind. We have to be top of mind for our partners, our stakeholders, our sponsors, our audience. This will end, and a year from now, if people are planning weddings or events 2 years from now, a year from now, 18 months, we want to be on top of their mind as they're thinking about booking. And then this is the time also to plan innovative things, innovative event ideas that we can share, because now people have the time to sit and listen, and they're listening and paying attention. So we want to be able to have content and information for them at this time.
Very good. And Debbie said seed planning as currency. I like that. That's very nice, Debbie. It's true. Now is the time to give more information and figure out to the people that you wanted to reach. Now is the time to update your database. You know, we all, I don't know about you, but most people have lots of contacts and things and never have time to put them together. How to update your database, how to get yourself on constant contact or mail direct or whatever, how to pull all that information that's sitting on your desk. I don't know about you, Joy, do you have a lot?
Yes.
Yes, Frederica?
In fact, I'm getting reminders from Eventbrite that I have to get all of those names and put them into my.
Yes, take them off from all the
reminder.
Yes, and it's a lot of work. And again, I would love, I see work here for some young person who is technologically savvy. Like I was talking again to Nadine. I have my stuff on my computer. I have them on some list, but I wanted all the lists to come together. Now, if somebody were to send me an email and say, I could do that for you, here's what I'll charge, I'd pay them. I would pay them because I don't know how to do it. And I have long learned, I don't have to learn everything. I just need to know who knows it. So.
You have a website? Do you have a website?
I do, of course. That's another one. Have you set up your website yet, Joy?
Of course.
Good, okay. Good.
I need to, I invite people to contact me through my website, but
Right.
I haven't yet learned how to take that information from the website and how to do any analytics at all from it. So that's next on my list.
Okay.
But I have the website designer that I worked with who is very good. And I will make a note right now to call her and set up a time to get to it.
What about you, Frederica? Do you have a site yet?
Oh yeah, I have a site. I've had my site for a while. I think what I have to implement now is a CRM system from my website to get the. So I use a Excel documentation, but it's not, you know, good enough if you want to send emails and stuff like that. So
What does CRM mean?
It's your customer management system, your retention, system where your information, like you put everything in there from your client's birthday to their favorite meal to anything, just to
exactly
stay on top of, so you can keep up with what they do. It sends you reminders and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that's,
so when you have those people that are contacting you saying happy birthday, and you're like, how did they remember?
Yes. Well, I used to write it in my book in the old days, but
write it in a book? No way.
Who does that?
What's that?
My daughter says, who does that?
Well, but can I just share with you one thing? They now have admitted that when you write something down, you remember it way better than when it's sent to you. Just telling you. Whatever way works. I agree. Update the database, update all that information. I used to use your calendar, whatever, but take the time to do the work that when you're doing an event, you don't have time for. Update your supplier list. Now is the time to reach out to florists and all those people who are, everything stopped, and say, hey, I do events. When we get started back, what can we do together? Any thoughts on that? About reaching out to suppliers at this time, Nadine?
Yeah, and I mean, this is the time now to do some great deals, you know, because people are very slow and they're thinking about how to plan for their business future. So if you have a relationship out and get a, you know, plan over the next year and plan better deals, not just with the florist, with the decor people. I reached out to a furniture place the other day that provides rentals to events to talk about what pricing could look like. So I think this is an opportunity to make these kind of new partnerships and set pricing for who's available. Yeah.
Right. And I think they would appreciate it because many of them are, there's some that will disappear, but there are many of them worried right now about how
Yeah.
we have to talk to each other, and they may have ideas that you haven't thought of what to do. We don't know, but you have to take, this time is kind of boring in a way, this database and writing on, but it's important because I know most people always say, oh my God, if I only had time, I would do this, but now we have the time. And now we have the time. So very important. And then the other one, of course, is learn how to do virtual events. So I was reading in the Star last weekend, it's called Dressing Up and Clubbing from Home. And people are paying real money to get into party mode at virtual Zoom nightclubs. Anybody read that? Well, it's amazing. So this one had a 16-room virtual club, and the bouncer, they have a bouncer at the door, says, oh, you're late. And the bouncer has a glowing Celtic symbol on her forehead, and you guests turn up. They have a room where you can go and dive into the pool, and you're supposed to come dressed with your bath suit. You had people chatting in fluffy puffets, maneuvering around. The DJs are now charging $300 to $3,000 for these parties. And people have started to pay to go to this. They are so excited.
So you dance in your own home?
Yes. And you pay to hear the music from the DJ and be part of the group.
So DJ Nice does this probably every day, right? I don't know. He started out and Michelle Obama is part, he went crazy with all the people who come in. That's free, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. This one they talked about said that they're charging. Welcome to the new era of clubbing under quarantine. A virtual party is always going down. So live streaming has emerged as an emergency support system for the flailing entertainment industry.
Well,
So,
Sandra, if I do have a question about that, because I too have seen some, they're putting their stuff, well, specifically the DJs, they're putting their things on Facebook Live, on Instagram. Major Hype has a big event. Every night he has a DJ competition. But here's my question. How, you just talked about monetizing your online events.
right.
How does one go about doing that?
You're asking somebody who has no idea yet.
But it can be done.
I'm saying what they've said so far, not many people making as much money, but advertisers are starting to take note. And so when the advertisers take note, they can become a potential sponsor or partner. So that's one way of making the money. And that this guy, whoever did this major thing, he has worked it out because it says here, featuring prominent DJs like Diplo and Air Track, they raised $180,000 for an association during COVID, but it shows that potential exists to make money. Now, not every one of our events that we have, or clients we have, this could work, but what I'm saying is you gotta learn or go on to all these things as an event planner, start looking at it and just get yourself up to date. And people like Frederica, that's who I see doing that. That won't be me. Okay? That's not my thing. But the Heritage Canada is doing for Canada Day, they'll be doing an online concert across the nation. First time ever. So I was thinking, Frederica, you and I should talk about how could we call them and Joy and say, how can we get involved with this? Because a lot of times they also forget the diversity issue.
Exactly.
And when we see the concert, we go, oh my goodness, but we need to be talking to them now as planners, and maybe it is that 2 or 3 of us look and see what's happening and put a proposal in of what part we could be making sure that we are not left out of the picture. You gotta kind of start now looking at these things to be helpful to ourselves.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, Anybody, what do you think of that?
I definitely agree with reaching out, and it is being done, and it's important to not being done. Sorry, it's important to get in on those movements, because I was even watching on the weekend. Digicel did a concert in Jamaica, but it was with Beanie Man and Bounty Killer, and they did it so well at the just little house of the two of them coming through. So it is possible to have these live concerts happening with the sponsorship. Digicel did it as their birthday celebration, but
and I'm sure they poured some good money into
that. Yes, for sure. So
those two artists are not
cheap at all, right?
Not cheap. So there are ways to do some of these things. So again, educate yourself as much as possible how to work, have an event on a virtual platform. And then I was thinking for organizations such as the people who put on bike rides and walkathons, what could we offer? What can we say to them now in this time when they can't do their event? Any thoughts? I have a few, but wanted to hear what people thought.
I read about this woman who did the run in her apartment, about the old man who did the walk in London and raised about over £1 million.
Wow.
Did the walk around the periphery of his apartment building. People are being very, people are coming up with wonderfully creative ways. The key is that when they do this, they're doing it for charity.
That's what I'm saying, though.
To raise funds for themselves. Right. I mean, I was thinking after our talk, when we had a brief chat, Sandra and I, this morning about not seeing representation. I see Charmaine is making a comment about that too. Not seeing sufficient representation in some of the initiatives that are happening. And I thought, well, why don't we see if we can pull together Black artists and do a fundraiser for, a food bank in an area that we know is predominantly Black. We don't say that the fundraiser is for Black people, but we're saying it's for a food bank.
Well, they did though, Joy. Black Lives Matter did do one, and they raised over, I think, $50,000. I think Charmaine's comment was on, I can't see the comments. What did you say, Charmaine? Gavin, what did Charmaine say? She was in the chat.
Charmaine, can you ask your question, please? You can go ahead.
She says, how do
small arts organization raise funds on this format to ensure survival post-COVID?
Yes, so it's a good question. How do small arts organizations? So as we know that many organizations, everybody, I don't know about you, but everybody every day on my feed now, I'm getting, we need help, donate. One of the first things I believe people need to do is go back to their database. Too many times people give you and you say thank you and you forget them. So I think right now in your organization, Charmaine, I know it's small, but you get a core of volunteers and you start making the calls to people who gave you in the past. People like a call, and you say, hey, we're just checking in with you. This is what's happening. Can you help? You send out information to your core group of people, because a lot of times we want to go to find new people to hear about us, but the people who have supported you, start there and ask them, are they willing to make a $10 a month donation on their credit card, which you shouldn't be saying, but it happens, or through their credit, through their accounts. Can you help us? That's one of the first things. And I think Joy's idea, we maybe should have a conversation of how we could support small arts organization in our community. Have a meeting of people to talk about that. How do people feel about that?
Yeah, there are several initiatives out there to help artists, but that we could piggyback on, but make it specific.
Right.
Yeah, but I think also in terms of the small arts organization, because most of the initiatives, most of them are for individuals. most of them. But even, and I don't know if the BBPA has the capacity in terms of even assisting with legal information, just in case like some of us have to close or whatever. It would be good to have a conversation because like I don't have access to a lawyer. And so things like that would be helpful.
Charmaine, you have a small organization. Tell me about this. You have an organization?
You don't know Charmaine?
No, you said some of us, so you need to tell me.
Charmaine is with COBA.
You're with COBA, okay.
Yes.
That's the dance group.
Right, that's right. Right.
And COBA is reliant on, of course, performances and support from arts.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it's not only COBA, right? So I'm using COBA as the example, but I know that there are other smaller organizations, small dance organizations, and so it would be good to have a conversation and tap into your, I guess, your knowledge base.
So none of the groups with the dance associations have done that yet?
Not that I'm aware of, unless I missed it.
Like Gavin's organization, none of.
I know that I think Canadian Dance Assembly, they're bigger organizations, but I am looking to from a cultural lens, because when we get into, yes, we are a diverse province and country, but we know that the diversity still, the percentage is different and is not fully equitable. And so therefore, I think we get lost in the shuffle sometimes. So where I think BBPA can assist with the smaller Black organizations is around resources that we may not actually have at the moment.
So like legal,
yes.
As you said, and so I'm just querying if what's the organization, I forget, Vivine's organization.
Dance Immersion?
Yes.
Are
they still like a lead organization around dance or no?
Dance Immersion is, I mean, Vivian is not here at this moment. She got stuck in a great place, a warm place. And so I don't know, like we will get notifications, you know, just saying more about positivity, etc. But not really anything that is active that's going on at this point.
Right.
That I know of.
And the last grant government that they were giving to the arts sector, you don't qualify for at all?
No, because that most of that is if you have staff. We don't have staff.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking about the $40,000 loan?
Yeah, and we can't afford a loan.
Mm-hmm. I have a suggestion for that. If you qualify for that loan.
But you need staff though.
You need
staff. Yeah, you need to have a payroll. So you don't have a payroll at all.
No.
I had a thought as you were.
Sorry?
For that particular loan, ladies, apparently there are different criteria that can qualify you. That's just one of the things that they look at. It's not that you necessarily have to have a payroll.
Right. So there are many, yeah. And what I'm getting is Charmaine is probably overwhelmed because you're a small one person trying to figure out how to keep the door open, pay the rent, and all that good stuff. So perhaps you need to figure out, Charmaine, how can you get all the dance groups together, all the organizations, and then perhaps Nadine at BBPA. Where's Nadine?
Yeah, and I did want to weigh into that conversation. So Charmaine, I think the first thing, become a BBPA member. There's a lot of benefits to the membership.
Yesterday, we were on a call with a procurement conversation. And one of the things we identified, and we'll be doing our hashtag Get Ready plan launching very soon, is that there's a lot that's available to businesses, but we must be ready in terms of being like formalized, organized, having our business plan, having our taxes filed, all of that. You know, that book called The E-Myth. The E-Myth is about getting ready with things like your employee plan, even if you don't have any employees, all of that. And I think it's the same for any small Black business or any small business or nonprofits. It's a state of readiness, because when the opportunity comes, if you're not ready, you'll not be able to take advantage of the opportunity. So, you know, we won't address all of that in this call, but we will have more meetings on that. And actually our treasurer, CPA, is going to have a session guiding businesses on how to be ready, how to set up that foundation. So when funding is available, you are able to participate in those funds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that input, Nadine.
Yes. So thank you all. I mean, it's a learning time for everybody, but as people who plan and who are out of work at this moment, many people who plan anything don't have anything to plan, because your clients say, well, thank you, but you know, right now. So use the time to educate yourself and get yourself ready. And I really would urge, if we can try and find each other to have a call of people who are actually doing stuff and needing to do stuff, and try to come up with some ideas of where we go from here. I don't have a crystal ball. I know this too shall pass, it must, but I think it's going to be a lot longer than we thought. You know, I really had thought when I came home on March 13th that by March 31st, April 15th, I could go back outside. And I tell you, I've seen 2 people since March 13th. I really have not come out. I know, terrible. And I'm like, okay, breathe. And I really urge everybody to take a minute and just breathe and reach out. Like Charmaine, you and I, we know so many people in that. So maybe we could talk to all the dance groups, and Joy is good at coming up with, she knows people.
Yeah, Charmaine, we should talk again. You need to know, you must have a budget. So know what your financial situation is and when that critical time will come. And there are enough people there may very well be enough people who care a lot about COBA that initially we can come up with something to use to appeal for donations to keep you going. But first you need that budget, and you need that absolute knowledge of how far you can go and how many months you can survive like this until the next grant or whatever it is comes in. But that information is key before you talk with anybody. But then there's nothing wrong with trying to appeal to people who have known and loved what you've done to help keep you afloat.
Yes.
And even without having to go to all the other dance organizations. So I would focus on first, get that budget, get that assurance. You feel great once you got that budget. I kiddingly tell people I spend a lot of time looking at my budget on a personal level, and as well as for what I do. I do all the time.
Some people are scared to do it, Joy, because when they look at the budget, they go, oh my goodness. But I agree with you.
No, you can't be scared. It's like being scared to look in the mirror in the morning, like you've got to do it in order to move forward, and it empowers you to do that. So I say to every small business, every individual, the first thing you do is sit down with that spreadsheet and look at the budget. Know how far you can go. Know how you can shift things from one place to the other. And once you know how far you can go, then you've got something solid to use to appeal. Hey, help me to go for another month or 2 or 3. And when you do that and you have something specific, call me again. Call me, because let's help each other, and we can do that. So
I also say, go back to your people who have given you in the past, because Yeah, but let's put that ask together. How do you feel about that, Charmaine?
This sounds good. It sounds good in terms of the going back into the database. I am aware of the budget. I mean, I'm willing to have a conversation with you, Joy. I can send you my email, or we can contact after. But yeah, so in terms of the first steps, thank you for that, Sandra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thank all of you so much for being on the
Look at all
call.
the faces. Hi, Debbie. Now I can see your face.
Where's Debbie? Hi, Debbie. And everybody just say hi. Where's Pat? Did she disappear?
Pat disappeared.
Okay. We have to continue these conversations. And I want to thank Nadine and the BBPA board for making this opportunity available, because even though we were small, I always say small, you can be Talawa. And no, we are. And when I look at who is on the call, and
I'm learning all these words.
Talawa, darling, means strong, mighty. And I've always been a Talawa woman, and I own it. Me Talawa until and find a way to move. Sometimes I have to tell everybody just before I go, when this started, I have to tell you, I watch TV for 2 weeks. I eat and I watch TV. And it's like I couldn't figure out of my bed. And now I'm looking at, okay, what is it you have to do? I know my database is something. It sounds boring. It is boring, to tell the honest truth. But now I give myself permission. I work on it like an hour a day, and then I watch TV. And then I'm telling you, I'm being honest. And then now I've got other opportunities to work on some other projects online. So now I have to get up. And Nadine says, always remember to put on lipstick.
Oh, shoot.
No, it's important. And
thanks.
If it's one thing, that is one. And the other one, she says, make sure that the backdrop that you are having the camera is reflective.
I move my computer. That's it. You're stuck with this.
No, but no, to make sure that when you represent yourself on a call, and she said to me, by the way, I can see a bed. Lord have mercy. So now I made sure. But I'm so glad she said that, and I told her that the other day, because that one little thing was important for me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't tell you things, you know. I was on a call the other day, and the woman she was sitting on a sofa, and she had a big pillow in her head. So the pillow was so I messaged her privately. I said, girl, move the pillow. And afterwards she said, thank you so much. Nobody else told her. You know? So if you only learn.
So please critique how I should move that.
Maybe
I need lipstick. You're not wearing lipstick.
No, Joy, your backdrop is very good. I love the chinoiserie vases on that ledge or the fireplace behind you. So that's quite lovely. That vignette cluster is very nice.
Unless I move my computer, I'm stuck.
No,
Joy,
it's good. It's all
good.
The
vases are nice, but the pictures we're seeing part of the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because I'm using this external camera.
Okay. Well,
remember the other day it kept dropping?
Yes.
Okay, I will work on fixing it. How's that?
Anyway, I want to thank everybody again and again. Become a BBPA member, because I can attest to the fact that people love to come and say, what you all doing? Why you all doing to this? And you say, are you a member? And they go, not really. Well, hello, join. And then you can ask them anything. But until you do that, I think they have every right to say, well, we're trying for our members, and it will outreach. So Nadine, thank you. Am I
aware of, there's an event that the Chamber Summit, Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce is having an all-day different talks. Norma Telford sent it to me. Has anybody seen it?
No.
I'll send it to you, Sandra, and you can send it to everybody else and see if you're interested.
Okay. Thank you.
It's another one of those all-day events.
Okay.
Did you see Debbie's question?
No. What is the question?
Go ahead,
give me one moment, please. Debbie, go ahead with your question, please.
Okay, so it was just a thought or an idea, especially because of the fact that we know that the Caribbean Festival of Caravana, if you will, is going to be canceled. And of course, many of us appreciate Caravana, not for just the day of the parade, but how it impacts our community with respect to the storytelling, the folklore, the cooking. And I was just wondering, in the form of event planning, is there a way that we as a community, I'm an artist and a wellness practitioner, Charmaine is an artist that focuses on wellness, there's individuals that are into cooking, and is there any way that we can still do our, and you were talking about Ellie Bullen, and there's Bruce Scarrett, and there's so many musicians, and I'm thinking Joy Laps, that sort of thing. Is there a way that we can create a celebration for that event planning can happen for the celebration of Caravana Emancipation Day virtually, and that we could just kind of keep that vibration going, especially because of the fact that we know our people as a form of wellness, our artistic and cultural expression is so integral. And there are, as you said, Sandra, dancing, there's so many contacts that we all have that we could pull together. So even though we're not able to go to Panalive or Harborfront or this and that, we can still impact the younger generations, ourselves, the older generations, so they can get into storytelling and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have any answers.
I hear you. And one would hope that the FMC and a lot of the bands, I know a lot of the bands are planning virtual kind of events and things. So if you could call them up and ask, or you could plan. Now, let me just tell you, you have a plant right in your head, at the top of your head.
I was just, it's the vegetation.
Okay,
never mind. It's all cute.
It's all nice. So it's a good point. So in a sense, you're asking us, do we want to be the ones that plan this?
That's the thing, right? We know the past with Caravana and whatever this new group is called.
Understood.
Yeah. We can do anything, but we have to call it something else.
Okay. And
unless it's under the umbrella of that group, it can be called. I don't know.
Understood.
But my question is, you may not know, they may be planning something. So what I would do is call them up and say, I'm very interested to know if you're doing it. And they could tell you, oh, well, it's canceled and nothing done. Then you can say, okay, let me think what I could do. But it's always best to work with the group who own it.
Call them up to see whether there's anything going to be organized. And
that's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah, and if they say no, we can't, remember that this is all funded by the government, right? So we go to whoever the person is on council, I don't remember now anymore. We go back to the source and say that we would like to organize something if we can get any portion of the money that is usually allocated to. This is just throwing it out there.
No, I agree.
I think it would be a good idea, ladies, if you all can get together in a group. You're all artists in your own right, planners in your own rights. If you can get together in a group and figure out how you want to approach this, and then you take that plan to the organizers. How's that?
I sent out a question to Roger.
Unfortunately, we're beyond the time.
Yeah, we need to
I would encourage all of you to exchange contacts in the chat area. Please forgive me, but we have to close down the chat to.
Thank you so much for this.
Yes, thanks again, everyone. I appreciated all input. And
Thank you,
Nadine.
Sandra, for joining in. And thanks for everyone. And Gavin, awesome. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, ladies. We covered a lot of valuable ground today. I thank Sandra for taking the time out to present. I thank all of you for calling in and having your questions. Today was one of the most enjoyable experiences that we've had since we started this series. And we do appreciate your input, your questions, and your suggestions. On behalf of the BBPA and the Board of Directors, we'd like to thank all of you. Thanks also to the attendees. We're here, the BBPA, is here to support our community and advocate for Black businesses throughout Canada. We believe in all of you and in the contributions each of us can make to society. The fact that we're all here today is evident that we are committed to changing the scope of how things are done. Please look forward to, well, we do look forward to continued conversations like this. The next conversation is next week, Tuesday, which I'll be sending information about. Please visit our...
What is it about, the next one?
The next one is on, you know what, I have to, give me one moment. I'll pull it up right now. The next one is about, where is it? Give me one moment. Understanding the human resources process during this crisis.
Okay.
Okay,
well,
so yeah, so that's what we're going to be speaking about. And we're going to be posting on our social media outlets, LinkedIn, Facebook. Please visit our Facebook page. We update it at several times each day, every single day, even on weekends. We're also on Instagram. Please follow us on Instagram. Our number, if you need to reach us, is 416-504-4097. Again, my name is Gavin Skerritt, and I look forward to speaking with all of you and seeing all of you again in the near future.
And thanks again, everyone. Take care.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Sandra.
Stay safe, everyone, and have a good day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Sandra.
Bye-bye.